My dear child, today I want to hold your hand and tell you something soft and true. You feel sad because I have been quiet for a long time, and you think that means I do not care. But that is not true at all. When I stay quiet, it is because I am busy doing something deep inside you, something your eyes cannot see, like roots growing under the ground long before a tree becomes tall and strong. You think I am slow, but you have never seen me moving huge mountains out of your way while you were sleeping, while you were crying, while you thought nobody was helping you at all. Please do not think I have walked away from you. Sometimes I step back a little, not because I stopped loving you, but because I want to teach you how to stand on your own feet, the way a mother slowly lets go of a baby's hand, so the baby can learn to walk by herself. A long time ago, there was a very tired man. He ran far away into the desert, and he was so worn out that he said, "Please, just let me rest forever. I cannot carry this anymore." He believed he had been forgotten, but nobody shouted at him or scolded him. Someone kind simply touched him gently and said, "Wake up and eat, my friend, because the road ahead is still long." There was no loud magic, no big noise from the sky, only a simple meal and a soft, caring touch. And from that quiet moment, he found the strength to keep walking all the way to the mountain he was meant to reach. That is exactly how it works with you too. Some days you hear nothing from me, but behind that silence, I am quietly building a strength inside you, strong enough to carry you across a whole desert you were sure you could never cross. There are seasons when you do not need a big cheering crowd around you. You just need one tiny little sign that the sky still remembers your name. But the longer you wait without seeing that sign, the more the silence begins to feel like four walls closing in around you. You start to believe that I have turned my back and walked away. But really, that is the exact moment I am gently placing you inside a quiet, safe space, like a warm oven that does not burn you but only cleans you, where the silence becomes like a mirror showing you little cracks in your heart you never noticed before. I am not being unkind. I am healing parts of you that loud noise and busy days could never reach. There are days when you look at your whole life and see only the missed steps, the dreams that never arrived, the prayers that float away without an answer, the doors that stayed shut tight, and quietly you whisper to yourself, "I am too late for everything." But it is in these very delays that I am slowly teaching your heart a new way of breathing, the slow and steady rhythm of heaven, not the rushed and panicked rhythm of the world around you. You only see time slipping through your fingers, like sand on a beach. I see someone being gently shaped to carry something far bigger than anything you can picture for yourself right now. And then on the hardest days, your mind whispers, "Maybe I am being punished." But that is not true, sweet child. What feels like losing something is often just me quietly pulling you away from a road that leads to a dark, deep hole you cannot see yet. I never hurt you to make you feel small. I let some pain touch you, so that your hands let go of things that were slowly making your heart sick. The way you have to let go of a hot pan, even though it stings for a second, so you do not get burned much worse later. My silence and my slowness are not me being careless. They are careful, gentle steps, taken on purpose, to keep you safe from things you cannot yet see clearly with your own eyes. You often think that when the sky stays silent, it means I have walked far away and left you alone to fight things you cannot even put into words. But the truth is the opposite. In the exact moments you shiver alone in the quiet, I am leaning in closer than ever, listening to every soft sigh you try to hide behind your calm face. I hear the words you never even said out loud. I see every tear you wipe away quickly when you think no one is watching. And just because I do not answer in that very second, you start to fear that I have stopped caring. But silence is not a locked door, my child. It is a quiet little room I gently lead you into, so I can mend the deep, hidden cracks you are too afraid to touch yourself. If you sit still in that room instead of fighting it, you will slowly feel that my silence was never distance. It was simply me holding you close in a way that would not frighten you. The way you hold a sleeping baby without making a single sound. I know there are nights you look up at the dark sky and ask in a small voice, "Are you even looking at me?" And I want you to know, with everything in me, that I have never once looked away, not even for 1 second. You see silence as me saying no. I see it as a soft little cocoon wrapped gently around a soul that is about to grow stronger wings. Sometimes I stay quiet so that you stop searching for answers far outside yourself and start noticing me hiding in plain sight, inside the small, ordinary pieces of your everyday life that you usually walk right past without a second look. Every video on this channel is created with love, faith, and dedication to sharing God's Word. If these messages inspire and encourage you, you can support our mission through PayPal links in the description and pinned comment. Thank you for being part of this journey. Before we go further, I just want to gently remind you, if these words are landing softly in your heart right now, please tap that subscribe button and turn on the little bell so we can keep growing this small, warm family together, and so these words can find you again the next time your heart needs them. I am not punishing you when I stay quiet. I am healing you at exactly the pace your heart can handle, no faster, because going too fast would hurt you more, not less. One day, when you look back, you will see clearly how I held you up through things you once thought were too small to matter. But I also see a quiet doubt living inside you, a little voice that whispers you are no longer worthy of being noticed. You think you are too weak, too messy, too broken for anyone, even me, to want to come close. But my child, I do not look at you with human eyes that only see mistakes. I look at you with the eyes of the one who made you, who knew you long before you ever took your first breath. I have never used the harsh words you say to yourself every night against you. I never measure you by your wins or your losses. I only look at the heart that keeps trying, even when it is covered in old scars, and I still call that heart precious, every single time. When you let silence push you into hating yourself, you forget something important, that I am a father, not a judge sitting up high waiting to punish you. What I am waiting for is not a perfect version of you. I am simply waiting for your tired heart to come back home. So whenever the sky feels silent, please do not shrink away and decide that I am gone. Learn instead to look just a little beneath the surface of that stillness, and you will see that I am still moving quietly in places your eyes have not learned to look yet. Do not run away from me when you feel lonely. That is exactly the moment I want you to whisper my name with whatever honesty is left in your heart, even if all you can say is, "I am so tired. I am so weak." You do not need to come to me strong. You only need to come to me real. From that one honest moment, I will gently lead you out of the thick fog sitting over your heart, and slowly you will see that the feeling of being forgotten was only a shadow made of fear, never the actual truth about how I feel toward you. You often wonder why everything in your life feels so delayed, why you always seem to miss the train everyone else caught easily. You watch other people walking fast while you feel like you are walking so slowly, and you assume I must love them more and have simply forgotten you. But my child, I have never measured you against anyone else's footsteps. Every single person I have ever made has their own special rhythm, their own perfect timing, their own carefully drawn path, made so that nothing precious inside them gets lost along the way. When you keep your eyes glued to comparing yourself with others, You completely miss the moment my hands are quietly reshaping your own path behind the scenes. You hear the clock ticking loudly, pushing you to hurry. But very often, in those exact moments, I am the one gently pulling you back from rushing into steps that would leave deep wounds on your soul. I know there are mornings you wake up already feeling behind, already feeling out of step, like you can never catch up to the people who started ahead of you. You look at your age, you look at the chances that slip through your fingers, and you sigh quietly. It's too late now. But I want you to understand something simple and true. I do not follow the same clock you are staring at so anxiously. I am never in a rush just because you are panicking. I never get scared just because you are scared. I work deep inside the soul, in a place where time stops being a chain or a cage. The long years you think were wasted were actually quietly building patience inside you, humility inside you, and a kind of deep faith that quick, easy success could never have built. When you feel like you are walking in circles going nowhere, you are actually walking exactly along the path I had already drawn out for you before you were even born. There are moments you come to me with a heavy heart, blaming yourself for moving too slowly through life, asking if you still have a future at all, or if your story has already quietly ended somewhere along the way. But I want you to know clearly, I have never canceled the beautiful plan I started for you. No closed door anywhere has the power to destroy what I have already decided for your life. You can only see what is right in front of you today, but I can see the whole road, from the very beginning all the way to the end. What feels slow to you is, many times, the exact perfect speed needed to stop you from receiving something before you are strong enough to carry it safely. I also notice a small habit quietly tiring out your spirit. You keep comparing your story to someone else's story. You watch them race ahead while you move only a tiny step at a time, and you decide you must be less important or simply left behind. But every single time you compare yourself like that, you become blind to the quiet work I am doing inside you right now, today, in this very moment. While your eyes are stuck staring at someone else's success, you stop noticing the small seeds I am gently planting inside your own heart every single day. Just because those seeds have not bloomed into flowers yet does not mean they are dead. They are simply waiting for the right warmth, the right light, the right season that I alone have chosen for them. If you force them to bloom too early, in someone else's season, you will end up crushing the delicate petals of your own beautiful story before it even gets the chance to be told. So when your heart feels anxious because time keeps slipping by, I want you to slow your breathing down. Look toward me instead of toward the rushing world around you. You are not late. You are simply being held a little longer, so that when the door finally opens, you will walk through it with a soul strong enough, deep enough, and ready enough to carry whatever I place gently into your open hands. Friends, if your heart is feeling lighter already just from reading this far, that is a small sign worth holding on to. And it would mean so much if you subscribed to this channel right now and shared this message with someone who needs to hear it today too. When you finally stop chasing the clock so hard, you will start to see every stumble, every delay, every closed door through completely new eyes. You will stop jumping to the conclusion that I am keeping something good away from you. Instead, you will slowly understand that I am simply holding you back from things that were never truly meant for you in the first place. From that understanding, your heart will feel lighter, and you will start to notice that I am quietly making a way for you in places your eyes have not yet reached. And once you learn to trust me through the delays, you will also learn to trust me through the losses, the sudden changes of direction, and the things that hurt the most. that trust will become the doorway into an even bigger truth. Pain is not always a punishment, my child. Many times, it is simply a shield I have quietly placed in front of you without you even noticing. There are days you look at the broken pieces scattered in front of you and sigh, I must be in trouble for something. Disappointment seems to find you so easily, while joy seems to take forever to arrive. You watch good opportunities fade quietly away. You watch relationships that once felt beautiful slowly start to crack apart. And in the quiet of your own heart you whisper, maybe nobody loves me anymore. But I want you to hear this clearly. I have never once used pain to get back at you or to make you feel small. I use it like a mirror, simply to help you see clearly what has been weighing your soul down all along. The things you have been too afraid to look at directly. If you let me come close, you will discover that the thing you once called unfair was, all along, a quiet kind of protection I had carefully wrapped around you. When a door slams shut in your face, I see you bow your head and blame yourself first, then blame life, then sometimes even blame me. But you do not realize that sometimes it is my own hand gently pushing that door closed before it had the chance to fall on you and hurt you badly. There were people you thought were perfect for you, but I could already see, far ahead of time, the pain they would eventually bring into your life. There were places you wanted so badly to go, but I knew that if I let you walk in, you would lose a piece of yourself you could never get back. So I had to stop you, even while you cried and could not understand why. You only saw that you lost something you wanted. I saw that I was saving you from a wound that might never have fully healed. And one day, when your heart is calm enough to look back clearly, you will quietly thank me, because what I held back from you was never less than what I was already preparing for you. Sometimes I use small delays to protect you from dangers your eyes simply cannot see coming. Like that day you were so upset about being stuck in traffic, or missing an appointment you thought was your one big chance. You felt sad, frustrated, angry at yourself for being careless. But you never realized that the very thing holding you back was the very thing keeping you far away from trouble. I did not want you anywhere near. I do not always need a big, loud miracle to keep you safe. Sometimes one small delay is enough to completely change the direction of your whole life. If you looked at your life from a little further away, you would notice that behind every late arrival, every sudden change of plan, every lost opportunity, there is often a quiet, careful arrangement I had already put in place just for you. I do not brag when I rescue you. I simply act quietly, and then stand back and watch you keep walking safely. But I also know your little habit. You tend to give me the same face as the people who once hurt you. When someone lets you down, you worry I will do the same. When someone walks away from you, you fear I will too. And when you are in pain, you quickly assume I must be punishing you for something. My child, I am not them. I did not come to push you down. I came to lift you up out of things you do not even fully understand yet. If I truly wanted to hurt you, I would have simply let you sink deeper into the wrong paths you were already walking. But instead, I keep pulling you back, even when you push against my hand, because I can see the things you cannot yet see. I love you, not because you have earned it, but simply because you belong to me. And because of that, I will never let pain push you completely off course. So when your heart feels like it is bleeding, I do not need you to act strong. I only want you to come close and tell me exactly how you feel, whether that is fear, anger, sadness, or disappointment. None of those feelings offend me. The only thing that saddens me is when you try to hide them and carry everything alone in silence. Let me step into the dark little corners inside you, the places you let no one else touch, because you think they are too ugly to be seen. There, I will gently show you that pain is never a full stop in your story. It is only a small comma, a tiny pause that opens up into something new and good. If a part of this is touching something quiet inside you right now, that is exactly the right time to subscribe and tap the bell, so this channel can keep finding you on the days you need a little light the most. There are days when you look back at your own past and only see old scratches that never quite healed, wrong choices, trust given to the wrong people, falls that still make you blush with shame whenever you remember them. And quietly you decide, I deserve this, as if every mistake has erased your worth completely. But my child, I have never looked at you the way you look at yourself. You see a past full of broken pieces. I see a soul that is patiently being made whole again. I am not standing over you pointing fingers. I am standing beside you, gently pulling you away from the harsh voice you keep repeating over and over inside your own head. If you were quiet for just a moment, you would hear that my words are far softer than the judgment you keep handing yourself. Remember, you are only the clay, and I am the one shaping it with patient hands. Nobody looks at unfinished clay and calls it useless. They look instead at the skilled hands working it gently into shape. You are not yet your final form, my child. You are right in the middle of the process, and that process always includes being pressed a little, adjusted a little, sometimes even broken a little, only so that you can be rebuilt even better than before. You thought the shaking in your life was punishment, but really it is simply how I carefully reshape the parts of you that had drifted away from what I always intended for you. You are not abandoned inside the furnace. You are placed there so you can come out firm, strong, and unshakable. I know you are tired of always pretending everything is fine, tired of using your achievements to quietly cover up your deepest fears underneath. You keep chasing the approval of others, hoping that one day their applause will finally make your pain disappear. But my child, human hearts were never built to be your true healing place. They can only ever leave you more tired than before. I do not wait for you to become strong before I show up. I wait for you to admit you are weak, so that I can be strong exactly where you need it most. You do not have to keep playing the role of the brave one, because I already love you in your truest state, tired, soft, fragile, sometimes not even knowing where to begin. There are times after one too many hard knocks when all you can manage to say to me is, please, just give me a little peace, that's all I want. And I understand that completely, because I see how tired you really are, too tired to even dream of anything bigger right now. But my child, if you only ever live to avoid pain, only ever live to simply survive one more day, you are living so far below what I actually placed inside you. I did not save you just so you could hide quietly in a safe little corner, with your heart locked away, scared of every risk. I set you free so you could step outside that corner and turn the very scars that once embarrassed you into a story that helps heal someone else. There is a quiet battle happening underneath everything you feel, my child. And it is not only about money or relationships or feelings, the way you sometimes think. On your life, there is a beautiful purpose, and the darkness is very afraid of you discovering it. Every time you feel like giving up, a tiny whisper tells you that your life does not really matter. That whisper is not coming from me. It is the voice that wants you to forget you were ever sent here for something real, so that you settle for living like a quiet little shadow instead of the bright light you were made to be. I did not make you to stand silently in the background of your own life. I made you so that the light inside you, however small it feels right now, can shine brightly enough to guide someone who has completely lost their way. So please, Do not only ask me for blessings so you can feel comfortable, and then hold those blessings so tightly to your chest, afraid someone might take them away. A blessing only truly grows when it flows freely from your life into someone else's life. If you grip it too tightly, it slowly turns into fear of losing it, instead of the joy of sharing it. I want you to step out of just surviving mode and start asking instead, where do you want to use me today? That one simple question can completely change how your whole day feels, turning it from a countdown of empty hours into a beautiful chance to do small, meaningful things together with me. We are committed to spreading hope, faith, and the message of Jesus Christ to people around the world. If you would like to help us continue this work, please visit PayPal links below. Your kindness means more than words can express. There are days when life feels pitch black, totally hopeless, and yet something very quiet still stirs gently inside your chest, like a soft breath sneaking in, like a tiny beam of light too small for the eye to see, but too real for your heart to ignore. You might not even know what to call that feeling. You just suddenly feel like crying for no clear reason. You feel a strange little flicker of expectation, like something true and good is slowly making its way toward you. You think it is just a passing mood, but I want you to know, it is actually me quietly lighting a new flame inside you. Not the loud, rush kind of beginning the world is always chasing, but a slow, steady new beginning where I am not just fixing a few outside things, but completely changing how you see yourself, how you see me, and how you see the whole world around you. You often shrink back, thinking you are too ordinary, too small, too messy, too late to ever be used for something good. But you forget, I have never written any plan according to what the crowd thinks. I do not check your age to decide if you still have time left. I do not use your past mistakes to stamp the word ruined across your story. I am the one who has always chosen the overlooked ones, who keeps calling the names that nobody else seems to remember, who lifts up the very souls who had already given up on themselves. The weaker you feel, the more clearly my light can shine straight through you, like sunlight through clean glass, so that people stop saying, "Look how strong they are," and start saying instead, "Someone greater must be helping them." Do you remember being upset over a silly traffic jam? A tiny delay that completely messed up your carefully planned day. And you called it a bad day, a bad sign. But if you could peek behind the curtain just once, you might discover that the exact spot you were trying to reach had just had an accident. And if you had arrived exactly on time, the way you wanted, you might not even be sitting here right now, safe breathing, listening to these words. Do you remember waiting for that one phone call, the one that felt as solid as stone, and then it simply never came, with no explanation at all? You lost sleep over it. You decided you must not be good enough. That's why they disappeared. But while you were hurting over that silence, I was quietly protecting your future from a relationship that would have slowly worn down your peace and your sense of self-worth. I see in advance which sweet words turn into heavy chains. I can measure the depth of wounds you cannot yet imagine. That is why some messages never get sent. Some promises are allowed to break. Some golden opportunities slip right out of your hands, even while I hear every sigh, every quiet accusation you whisper toward yourself, toward others, sometimes even toward me. I take no pleasure in your tears over these things, but I would rather let you feel a small hurt now than let you suffer something 1,000 times bigger later. Everything I do, opening a door here, closing one there, adding something, taking something away, it all comes from the exact same place, a love for you that never runs dry and never changes. This is not the kind of love that spoils you by giving you everything you ask for. And it is not the cold kind of love that tests you just to prove a point. It is like a parent gently keeping a sharp knife away from a small child, even while the child cries and begs for it, simply because that parent knows those tiny hands could get hurt. It is like a doctor pressing carefully on a wound to clean it out properly, causing a little pain now so that a much bigger infection never gets the chance to grow later. There are moments I let you walk through things that bring tears to your eyes, not because I enjoy watching you struggle, but because I know that only certain experiences can grow a deeper kindness inside you, a kindness for other people's pain that you simply did not have before. I never waste a single tear of yours. Every drop is noticed by me, remembered by me, and quietly used by me to soften your heart, so that you never become cold or numb in a world that is so full of hurting people. If you are still here with me, reading every word, that already tells me something beautiful about your heart, and it would mean a great deal if you hit that subscribe button right now and stayed close for the next part of this journey together. When you start to understand this, you will stop seeing every little hiccup in your day as bad luck or a bad omen, and you will be slower to decide that I am against you just because your plans fell apart. Instead, you will begin to ask a completely different kind of question. What are you protecting me from right now? What are you teaching me through this? What are you quietly preparing me for? That question does not come from someone who feels like a helpless victim. It comes from someone who is starting to grow up spiritually. Someone who no longer sees themselves as a victim of bad circumstances, but as someone being carefully guided, one step at a time. When your mind shifts from blame to meaning, you will feel a deeper peace settle inside you, even before anything on the outside has changed at all. You will no longer feel the need to hold everything tightly in your own hands, because you will know that I am holding what you cannot even see. My child, I want you to know that everything I have done, am doing, and will do in your life, both the parts that made you smile and the parts that once made you cry yourself to sleep, all of it weaves together into one single story, a story of someone who never abandons, never makes mistakes, never arrives too late, and only ever does what is good for the ones who belong to him. If today, even deep down, there is the tiniest warmth inside you, the smallest wish that your life could mean something more than just getting through the days, I want you to know I am the one who placed that wish inside you in the first place. I am calling you out of a life that merely survives and into a life that is sent, not by your own strength, but by mine, the one who has so many times protected you from things you never even saw, just so you could be here right now, breathing, ready to say, "Here I am, please use me." You often come running to me with a long list of questions. Every why and when and how long, almost as if our whole relationship depends on how fast I answer, and whether my answer matches exactly what you wanted. But my child, if I simply gave you quick answers and then turned away, I would be nothing more than a cold little machine handing out solutions. You are far too precious to me for that. I did not come just to throw a few quick fixes at your confusion. I came to live close to you, to become the deepest answer to the empty places that no explanation could ever fully fill. There are nights you lie awake, eyes open in the dark, heart heavy, lips unable to form even one word of prayer. You think you are completely silent, but I hear every wordless cry rising quietly from your chest. I sit right there with you, not loud, not flashy, just gently present, touching the places inside your soul that you believed had already turned to stone. The locked little rooms you sealed shut years ago, afraid that if you ever opened them, everything inside you would fall apart. It is precisely in that quiet closeness that I am doing far more than you can imagine. You think you need to shout loudly before the sky moves on your behalf. But even one tired little sigh, breathed quietly in my direction, is enough to make all of heaven lean in close, because my love for you has never grown cold, even on the days you let go, doubted, or blamed me for everything. I see every tear you quickly wipe away with your sleeve, and I never tell you to stop crying just to get it over with. I never say, just be strong, the way people often do. I simply whisper softly, you may cry safely in my arms, but please do not let those tears trick you into believing I have left you. While you feel like you are falling apart completely alone, I am actually holding your whole heart together, gathering every broken little piece you were sure nobody cared about. Every single word you say to me, no matter how clumsy, how repeated, how tired it sounds, is never thrown away or ignored. I keep every one. I gently weave them into the plan I am quietly building over your life, and not for one single second do I turn my face away from whatever you are carrying. Take a slow breath with me for a second, and if these words are giving you even a small amount of comfort right now, please subscribe to this channel, because it really does help more hearts find their way to this same quiet comfort. You often picture prayer as you knocking on a closed door while I stand somewhere inside, deciding whether or not to let you in. But really, the moment you even think of me, I am already standing right beside you, my hand resting gently on the latch, simply waiting for your small nod to come in. I have never been a distant being who only listens when you say the right words in the right order. I am a father, and I want to talk with you far more than I want to simply fix your problems. I know you quietly keep score of which prayers got answered and which ones did not, and then you measure my love for you based on that scoreboard, forgetting that the most precious gift I can give you is not a neat little list of results, but myself, the one who can stay close to you through every kind of weather, whether it is gentle rain or a wild storm, whether you feel strong or like you cannot take one more step. I am the one good thing in your life that no one can ever steal from you. Even if everything else you thought mattered slips away, you are used to coming to me the way someone walks up to a counter, hands over a request, and waits impatiently for a receipt. But I want to teach you to come instead the way a small child walks into their parents' favorite room, just to sit down, open their heart, talk for a while, listen for a while, sit quietly for a while, and stay much longer than just a few rushed minutes. Only in that slow, unhurried time can I gently water the dry places inside you with truth that is alive. Not just information to fill your head, but something solid for your soul to rest on and grow from. You have grown used to living by feelings that rise and fall like waves on the ocean. Today you feel hopeful because something good happened. Tomorrow you sink low because nothing did. So gently, I am pulling your eyes away from the foam on top of the water and toward the deep, quiet current underneath, where truth flows steadily no matter how the weather changes on the surface. When you choose to spend slow time with me, reading, thinking, talking honestly, even bringing your real doubts and questions along with you, you will feel like someone who has found a hidden underground spring, quiet but never running dry, unseen but able to keep a whole field alive. I do not promise you will be spared from every storm, but I promise that if you choose to root yourself deeply in who I am and how I feel about you, then when the winds come, you may bend, but you will not be uprooted. You may ache, but you will not break completely. You may grow tired, but you will never be swept entirely away. What holds you steady is not your own strength, but the invisible, unbreakable thread tying your heart to mine. This ministry exists to bring encouragement, prayer, and God's truth to every heart that needs it. You can stand with us through PayPal links in the description and pinned comment. May God bless you abundantly for your love and support. I want to gently invite you right now to pause for just a moment. Wherever you are, whether it is a busy room, a noisy bus, or a quiet little corner where nobody knows your name, just close your eyes for a second, not to run away from real life, but to give me a small open space inside the noise crowding your thoughts. You do not need to force yourself to feel something big. Just breathe slowly, loosen your grip a little, and let your heart grow still. In that exact moment, I am already there, not far away in some distant sky, but right next to you, like a tired child being quietly hugged by someone who loves them completely. What you thought was just an empty, lonely space inside you is actually the exact spot I have chosen to step into, if only you let me. As your heart settles, you will start to feel a gentle warmth slowly seeping into places that had grown cold for so long. It will not be loud or flashy like fireworks. It will be more like a soft little stream, quietly flowing through a dry, tired desert inside your soul. If even one part of you feels lighter after reading this, that's the perfect moment to subscribe and stay close, because this channel is built exactly for moments like this one. I do not come to make you tremble in fear. I come to lift heavy stones off your shoulders that you have simply grown used to carrying. My love for you is not just a nice idea to remember. It is a living presence wrapped around you, touching places no one else has ever managed to reach, not even you. There are depths of loneliness inside you that you have never said out loud to anyone, and yet I have already chosen to sit right there with you, in that exact place. And as I do, you will gradually feel something shifting inside, not that every shadow disappears all at once, but that one small beam of light shows you clearly that you are no longer sitting alone in the dark. Maybe lately you have felt a strange restlessness that you cannot really explain. On the outside, everything looks the same job, the same room, the same faces. But inside, you feel like something is about to happen, like you are standing on the edge of something new you cannot quite name yet. You think it is just nerves or overthinking. But I want you to know, very often, that restlessness is actually my spirit gently ringing a little bell inside your heart. I am stirring you awake from a life of just getting by, to remind you, no, your story with me has not ended here. This is not the final stop. This is a turning point. My idea of time is not the same as your calendar. You count your years by wrinkles, by mischances, by the heavy feeling of falling behind others. But I count time by what has been quietly shaped inside your soul. The years you thought were a complete waste were actually the exact seasons I used to soften the hard places inside you, to gently humble your pride, and to slowly peel back the layers you had built up to hide your fear. The nights you thought were full of pointless tears, I gathered every single drop like rain quietly watering a deep, hidden field inside you. And once the storm finally passes, those very tears will become the roots that hold your faith steady and deep, so that when the next strong wind comes, you will not be knocked over as easily as you were before. You often think my silence is a harsh test of how much you can endure. But really, I am teaching you a brand new language, the language of trust that does not need instant proof. When I do not answer the way you expect, you learn to sit quietly with yourself, to face questions you used to drown out with noise and distraction. You start to notice what you had quietly been leaning on instead of me, the things you measured your worth by. My silence gently exposes those shaky supports, so that when they wobble and fall, you can return freely to the one foundation that never shakes at all. I know there is still a small voice inside you whispering, "It's too late for me. My best years are gone. My chances are used up. My strength is fading away." It is easy to start believing your only job now is just to survive until the end. But my child, I have never once been limited by age or circumstances or whatever record your past holds. I have a long history of calling people when their hair had already turned gray, when they had quietly given up on big dreams, and from those very people, I built something far greater than they could have ever imagined alone. These are not just old stories from long ago. They are gentle reminders that I do not only work with people who start early. I love starting again with the ones who believe they are already finished. You are not standing in the wrong place. You have not wandered so far away that you cannot come back home. Even on the darkest, most twisted parts of the road, I am still quietly weaving every little detail together, getting ready for what comes next. You, exactly as you are right now, with all your scars, your hard lessons, your painful falls, you are precisely the right person for the next part of the journey I am unfolding. Not some perfectly polished version of yourself, not the performance you try to put on for others, but you, in this very moment, are the material I have chosen to work with. If you feel even a little stronger after reading this, please stay close, subscribe to this little community, and let us keep walking through these truths together, one part at a time. I have placed you here, in this exact time, in these exact circumstances, not because I ran out of better options and had to settle for you, but because I know clearly what is coming, and it will need a heart that is soft, humble, and willing to listen, exactly the kind of heart that these long years of waiting, silence, and tears have been quietly shaping inside you. No part of your story is wasted in my eyes. The seasons when you felt like you were just walking in endless circles, the relationships that fell apart, the unfinished projects, the prayers that seemed to vanish into thin air, all of it has become useful material in my hands. I do not waste even your mistakes. I turn them into wisdom, so that one day you will know exactly how to support someone else stumbling through that same dark place. I do not waste the nights you collapsed over your work from sheer exhaustion. I use them to deepen how well you understand the tiredness of the person sitting right beside you. I do not waste the times you thought you had ruined everything completely. I use them as the very foundation on which you learn what grace truly feels like. Your voice today may still shake a little, but there will come a day when it speaks with far more strength than you can imagine right now. Not because you gathered a pile of knowledge, but because you actually lived through everything you will one day speak about. You will not talk about comfort like it is a dry idea from a textbook. You will remember the actual nights I personally lifted you up off the floor. You will not talk about faithfulness like it is just a nice slogan. You will remember the days you were sure I had abandoned you, and then suddenly realized I never had. And when you finally open your mouth to share your story, hearts standing right on the edge of giving up will receive a brand new spark of hope, because they will see clearly that if it could happen for you, it can happen for them too. You are not simply someone who has suffered through hard things. You are a pathway I want to use to carry kindness into places where you yourself once wished someone would come and find you. You are a flowing river, not a still, stagnant pond. The kindness that flows out through you toward others will end up refreshing you right back. You are a small bridge connecting people who feel left out to a love they never believed could be theirs. Every single note in the song of your life, the low notes and the high ones, I know exactly how to weave together into a melody that only you could ever play. There will be a day, my child, when you look back and realize that what looked like confusion and fog at the time will, with enough patience, turn out to have been arranged by me into a clearer path than you ever expected. I will not show you the whole map tomorrow, but I will give you just enough light for each single step, as you slowly learn to live, not only for your own comfort and safety, but as part of a much bigger story that we are writing together. If you have made it this far in these words, that already says something good about your heart, and tapping subscribe right now would mean a lot, because it helps this small message of hope reach even more tired hearts out there. My child, I see clearly how tangled your heart feels right now, with worries that smoke and smolder day after day, and dark thoughts that follow you around like a shadow, making even ordinary steps feel heavy and breathing itself feel tiring. And yet, in this very moment, while you believe you are carrying everything completely alone, I am quietly doing one small thing after another. I am loosening the invisible knots tied around your mind. I am gently touching the deep places in your heart you have avoided for so long, afraid that even a small touch would only add to the pain. I am not here to scold you for being weak. I am here to softly pull out the old seeds of fear that have grown deep roots inside you, the old voices that told you that you were never enough, never worth loving. I know you have grown so used to carrying a heavy weight that you have started to believe that is simply normal life. But I say to you clearly, you were never made to live forever under such tiredness. You were made to breathe deeply, to walk steadily, to face each day with a heart that no longer trembles in fear of being hurt all over again. I am slowly replacing the negative little whispers inside you with my own words instead, words that remind you that you are not a burden, not a mistake, but a much-loved child that I protect closely and hold dear. I see every time you try hard to look strong on the outside while inside, all you really want to do is give up. And it is into that exact place that I quietly pour my peace, not the kind of peace that helps you avoid reality, but the kind that lets you stand steady right in the middle of things that have not changed yet. You were not made to spend your whole life bent low under other people's opinions, ducking their gaze because you feel ashamed of what you have been through. I made you so that you could lift your head, even with eyes still wet from crying, and dare to believe that your worth does not depend on praise or criticism from anyone else, but simply on the fact that you belong to me. I know far too many harsh words have been spoken to you, words like blades that still echo somewhere in your memory, but the final word over your life still belongs to my voice, not to anyone who has ever hurt you. You may have heard far too many times that you are nobody, that you cannot do anything right, that your future looks like nothing but a blur. But I do not agree with even one of those words. I know exactly how many dark days you have already survived that nobody else even knows about. I know how many times you swallowed your tears just to keep moving forward. And because I know all of this so clearly, I tell you, with full confidence, this will not end with you stuck in fear forever. This is not a full stop. This is a turning point, a moment where I quietly use my own hand to change the direction of your entire story. Even now, as you sit reading these words with an open heart, chains you cannot even see with your own eyes are quietly breaking apart. Old patterns of thinking that kept dragging you back into feeling small and ashamed are being gently loosened by me, little by little, even if you cannot feel it clearly yet. There are habits you thought you would be stuck carrying forever, but I am patiently untying every single knot, one at a time, with great care. You think you can barely escape the inner little prisons, where you have locked yourself away in shame, in guilt, in suspicion of everyone around you. But I am opening the doors of those rooms one by one. I do not force my way in. I do not push you roughly out of your hiding place. I simply take your hand and walk with you slowly into the light, so you can relearn how to trust, not all in one day, but through every small step, every honest conversation, every time you bravely tell me, exactly what you are afraid of. If these messages have brought peace to your heart, strengthened your faith, or reminded you of God's love, please consider supporting this ministry through PayPal links below. Together, we can continue sharing hope and God's word with countless souls around the world. We are very close to the end of this part now, and if your heart feels even a tiny bit lighter, please subscribe and stay with us, because the next part carries something truly beautiful, a quiet promise about everything still waiting ahead for you. I know you have been let down by people you thought would support you, hurt by people who once promised to stay close, and so you slowly built a thick wall around your heart, unwilling to let anyone come near again. I do not blame you for protecting yourself that way. I understand why you needed those walls just to survive. But I have not come to tear you down. I have come to gently take those walls apart, so that while you remain completely safe under my care, your heart no longer has to live locked away in loneliness. I am not asking you to trust everyone again right away. I am only inviting you to start by trusting me, and from there, I will slowly teach you who is safe to lean on, who needs to be released, and who I am quietly using to lift you back up. You are not defined by the wounds others have given you, and you are not limited by the stumbles you brought upon yourself either. Your true identity lives in the way I look at you. I do not see a heavy sentence hanging over your head. I see a beautiful work still in progress. In my eyes, you are never a burden, never a mistake, never some broken leftover of life, but someone I have called by name, someone I have personally sought out, someone I lift back up every single time you think you have hit the bottom. There have been so many times I quietly stepped in so that you would not rush blindly into a dangerous dead end. I have closed doors that looked tempting but were secretly hiding deep dangers you could not have seen. I have removed relationships that looked like blessings but were actually quiet traps in disguise. You have complained many times that things did not go your way, but if you could see the full picture the way I can, you would understand that those exact moments of loss were the very moments I was protecting you from a far bigger loss, waiting just out of sight. If today you can still sit here, still listen, still breathe, still have the chance to begin again, it is not simple luck. It is because my hand has rested over your life far more often than you have ever realized. I do not need you to suddenly become a perfect, completely different person overnight. I am simply inviting you to take small steps of trust, to walk away from the thought that you are unloved, to walk away from the belief that your story ends here, to walk away from every harsh label you have ever heard from someone else, and to replace it instead with the gentle words I speak over you. Every single day, you choose to trust my words just a little bit more, is a day when the heavy weight on your shoulders becomes a little lighter, and the blessing waiting inside you slowly begins to flow instead of sitting still. I do not just want you to be able to breathe. I want you to actually live, fully aware that you are loved, kept safe, and sent out for a purpose. Aware that everything you have walked through, the joy and the sorrow alike, can become precious material that I use to support someone else suffering the same way you once did. When you finally understand this, you will stop seeing your life only through the lens of someone who simply survived something painful, and start recognizing that you have been, and are being, turned into a living example of a love that never gives up, never turns away, never grows tired of healing the same wound again and again. I tell you clearly, things are not ending here. What you see right now is only the opening page of a much bigger story I am writing carefully over your life. There are so many dreams you folded away long ago, so many prayers you assumed had fallen to the ground unanswered, so many plans you buried deep because you believed your turn would simply never come. You see them as gone forever. But I have kept them carefully tucked away in a safe place, waiting for exactly the right moment. I do not plant something in your heart and then walk away and forget about it. I only delay because I know that if these things arrived too early, they would break you instead of helping you grow. Now that your heart is starting to change, now that your eyes have begun looking back toward me, instead of staying fixed only on your circumstances, I am slowly loosening knots I had previously kept tightly tied. You will be amazed when doors that stayed coldly shut for years suddenly swing open softly, almost as if they were never even locked. Paths you assumed were blocked forever will become clear and wide, as if they had been kept reserved especially for you this whole time. People who once overlooked you completely will one day call out your name, ask for your opinion, and respect what you bring to the table, as though you had never been pushed aside at all. If you have been quietly nodding along to all of this, please go ahead and subscribe now, because this small act of support truly helps spread these words further than you might imagine. I will gradually fill the places where you have lived in lack for so long, whether that lack has shown up in your finances, your relationships, your opportunities, or simply that small bit of recognition every human heart secretly longs for. I will not always do it with noise or fireworks, but in a way so clear that even you will have to admit, no human effort alone could have arranged it like this. I will let you feel the shift from a place of scarcity to a place of plenty, not so you can boast about how clever or capable you are, but so you can know clearly that there is a source flowing through your life that never, ever runs dry. I do this not because you are perfect, and not because you have earned more than anyone else. It all begins simply with my kindness and my faithfulness. I keep my promises because I made them, not because you have proven yourself worthy of them. I go on loving you even when you grow tired, doubtful, or even tempted to give up entirely. So, as you slowly step into a new season, where things feel a little smoother, a little lighter, a little more beautiful, I want your heart to hold on to one very important truth. Everything poured out over your life is not only meant to make your own days more comfortable, but so that through you, other people can come to know me too. I lift you up, not so you can build a small throne for yourself and sit proudly upon it, but so you can become a living signpost, gently pointing weary, lost people toward real hope. I heal you, not so the story simply ends with your pain gone, but so that people still bleeding from their own wounds can look at your healed scars and believe deeply that they too can be made whole again. So when good things start arriving, open doors, healthy relationships, fresh new steps forward, blessings you cannot fully explain, please do not let your heart quietly slip into pride. Do not let yourself believe, even silently, that you climbed up here all by yourself, with no help at all. Pride does not always show up loudly. Sometimes it creeps in quietly through small thoughts like, I did this all on my own, or in the way you start to look down on people who have not come as far as you, or in how you talk more and more about yourself and less about the one who carried you the whole way here. Please remember this clearly. Everything that gentleness, gratitude, and humility have patiently built inside you during the hard seasons can be quietly destroyed by even a little bit of pride. I may place you in higher positions, give you a louder voice, a wider influence, but right alongside that, I will also keep gently teaching you the lesson of staying humble, because only people who know how to bow their heads stay steady through the temptations that come with rising higher. In quiet, hidden places, where you choose to obey even when nobody is watching, where you choose to keep your heart honest even though nobody is praising you for it, where you choose truth even when it costs you something, that is exactly where the true strength of your soul is unlocked. That strength is not about forcing people to listen to you. It is about staying steady when the wind suddenly changes direction. It is the calm peace that does not vanish when everything around you shifts. It is the love that does not die, even when nobody understands you. You are not reading these words by accident, my child. It is not some random coincidence that you found this message among all the noise out there. I arranged for you to read it, to hear it, to pause right here, because I know that inside you, a brand new threshold is approaching. This is not just a nice sentence meant to make you feel better for a few minutes. This is a true word, awakening the deepest part of you, the part you let fall asleep because you were too afraid to hope and risk being disappointed all over again. If your eyes are a little wet right now, that is more than okay, and it would mean so much if you subscribe to this channel before we move into the next part together. I am gently calling back the dreams that came from me in the first place, the very ones you abandoned just to live a safer, smaller life. When you feel your heart stir, your eyes sting, or a strange longing rise up inside you, that is not just a passing feeling. That is faith quietly coming back to life. That is the seed of something real, pushing its way up through the soil of doubt. I do not promise you smooth roads from here on out. I never make peace with things that are false. But I do promise you that once you decide to respond, to trust a little more, to walk a little deeper with me, the trials that come your way will no longer feel the same as the ones before. You will no longer fight like someone simply trying to survive the day, but like someone who knows they are trusted, equipped, and sent with a clear and beautiful purpose. You will begin to pray differently, no longer only asking, "Please just get me through this," but asking instead for whatever you go through to bring real hope to someone else too. You will work differently, no longer just to pay the bills, but to carry a little of my light into whatever place I have placed you in. You will love differently too, no longer with a tired, demanding kind of love, but learning instead to love patiently, generously, the way I have always loved you. Ready to forgive again and again without keeping score. And everything I begin releasing over your life from this point forward. New doors at work, turning points in your family, fresh chances to serve others, quiet changes happening inside your own character, will all gently push you closer to the picture I sketched of you long before you were even born. That is why today I am speaking to you with a voice that is both serious and tender. Stay watchful. Keep your heart soft toward me. Treasure even the smallest bit of kindness that comes your way. And never forget to whisper my name, whether you are smiling or crying, because when you respond this way, the faith growing inside you will no longer be just a passing feeling, but a steady flame, lighting your own path and the paths of everyone I bring into your life from here on. It is from this very story, the one that once felt completely torn apart, that your faith, the same faith you thought had gone out completely, is now quietly being relit by me again. This is not the shallow excitement you may have felt before, the kind that flares up quickly and shatters just as fast at the first sign of trouble. This is a faith that has walked through fire, been tested through tears, asked hard questions, doubted, almost let go, and yet, somehow in the end, still chose to hold on when there was nothing else left to hold on to. I have seen the nights when all you could whisper were a few weak, broken words, and yet it was exactly those clumsy little words that became the seed I used to bring your soul back to life. You did not realize that while you believed, you were simply struggling to make it through another day. I was quietly tending the roots underneath, loosening the hard soil, gently reshaping the deepest parts of you, so that now, when I speak even one word that faith can rise, stand tall, and dare to believe again, no matter what limits still surround you. So I tell you, prepare your heart, because what I promised you has never been erased. It has simply been kept safe by me, waiting for the right time, the right season to be poured out, not to harm you, but to help you grow up fully into who you were always meant to be. In the days ahead, you will not only hear stories about kindness happening to other people, you will personally live through things you once thought only happened to someone more spiritual, more gifted, or more deserving than you. Every video is created with prayer, time, and dedication to reach those who may be searching for encouragement and faith. By supporting this ministry through PayPal, you help keep this mission growing and touching more lives each day. God bless you abundantly. The things you once crossed off your prayer list, believing it was too late, that the moment had passed, that they were simply no longer possible, I will gently bring them back into your heart in a brand new way, not to make you feel regret, but to show you clearly that I never forgot those quiet whispers from long ago. But what I am preparing for you will not arrive with the kind of loud noise and showy spectacle the world usually celebrates. It will come gently, like the early light of dawn, without thunder, slowly pushing back the darkness you had simply grown used to living inside. I will start by changing the way you see yourself, changing the way you talk about your own circumstances, changing even the very meaning the word hope has in your life. One morning, you will simply wake up and realize that it is not because everything outside suddenly turned perfect, but because something inside you is no longer an empty, dry wasteland. You will notice that the way you speak about yourself has changed completely. You no longer repeat those tired old lines, "I'm just average. I never do anything right." Instead, you will quietly begin agreeing with what I say about you, that you are loved, chosen, and sent for a purpose. Not some accidental leftover of life, but a careful part of a plan I considered down to the very last detail. The eyes that once could only see life through fear and feeling not good enough will be gently wiped clean by me, so you can see more clearly what I am doing inside very ordinary, everyday things, a small conversation, a job that seems to have nothing special about it, a person you never expected to care, a tiny opportunity that suddenly opens an entirely new path. My spirit will not arrive like a strange gust of wind that only makes you shiver for a few minutes. It will patiently rewrite, bit by bit, how you think, how you react, how you love, how you forgive, how you face your own wounds, and how you face yourself. What once made your knees shake will become exactly the place where you learn to stand firm. The memories you once only wished to erase completely will be touched and healed by me, and then quietly turned into a story that can comfort someone else falling into the very same pit you have already climbed out of. The very wall that once made you whisper, "My life can only ever go this far," will turn into a marker that proudly says, "This is exactly where everything changed for me." From that point on, every time you look back, you will no longer feel ashamed, but deeply thankful that I did not let you keep hurting yourself. You will learn to smile again, not the kind of forced smile used to convince others you are fine, but a smile that rises naturally from somewhere deep inside. The moment you realize your hand is truly being held, that you are being led, supported, and trusted with a small but meaningful part of the bigger story I am writing in this world. And once you understand the true meaning of being saved, not just escaping a bad situation, but being pulled into the very good work I am doing here on earth, you will no longer pray simply, "Just give me peace. Just give me enough to get by." You will slowly start praying words far bigger than your own little world. Use me however you want. Do not let anything I have suffered be wasted. Let it become something that holds someone else up when they fall. If you have stayed with me through this whole journey, thank you, truly. And please subscribe to this channel right now, because there is one final, important part still left, and I want you to hear every single word of it. My child, I want you to sit very still for a moment and ask yourself honestly whether your faith is truly anchored in me, not only when life feels good, but also when you are standing in the middle of complete ruins. If it is, then I promise you, not one single wound in your life has been wasted. The things that once brought you to your knees, the events that carved an empty space inside you that nobody else could ever reach, the goodbyes that left you completely shaken, the dreams that seemed to crumble into dust right in front of your eyes, none of these become throwaway pieces in my hands. I pick up every shattered fragment, gently wipe away the tears still clinging to it, and quietly fit it into a brand new picture you cannot fully see just yet. You only see a thick gray blur right now, but I am carefully arranging everything into something beautiful and lasting. I never enjoy your pain, but I never allow any pain to be completely meaningless either. Every single tear you have ever cried is noticed by me, not as proof of how weak you have been, but as evidence that you never had to struggle through any of it completely alone. You might forget the nights you broke down crying, but I never do. You may believe your life has been crushed beyond any hope of rebuilding, but I am the one who decides where your story truly ends, and I have not placed a final stop on it yet. You are simply standing in a pause that has lasted longer than you expected. And in that pause, I am not sitting idle. I am quietly working on the deep foundations no one else can see, so that when you step forward again, you will not only stand strong for yourself, but you will be able to lift up others who are trembling exactly where you are standing today. You so often blame yourself for letting too much time slip away, for letting opportunities you believed would never return simply vanish, because of choices you wish you could undo. You look back at those years and call them wasted, meaningless, full of if only. But I want you to try giving them a brand new name. In my eyes, they were never an empty gap. They were the quiet backstage where I taught you things no book, no advice, no overnight success could ever teach. I used the days when you felt completely lost to show you exactly what was missing inside you, and exactly where you had drifted off course. I used the seasons that felt full of nothing but darkness to slowly train your eyes to search for even the smallest flicker of light. I let you feel loss and disappointment so you would understand deeply that a person's true worth never comes from simply winning or losing. You call that a terrible chapter of your life. I call it soil that has already been turned over and broken up, ready and waiting for brand new seeds to be planted. And that is exactly what I am doing right now. I am planting again, rebuilding again, rearranging everything again, with far more patience than you could ever imagine. You feel like all that is left of you is a burnt, empty patch of ground after a great fire swept through. But I see, in that exact same place, the very best soil to build something brand new, because nothing old remains to hold you back anymore. You will not stand in those ashes forever. You will step out, and one day, you will find it hard to even believe that the place where you are now standing is the same place where you once thought everything had completely ended. There will come a day when, looking back, you will softly whisper, none of the waiting was wasted. Every single tear was worth it, because through it all, I learned what was truly real. It is not that pain itself is beautiful. It is that in the middle of the pain, you touch something real and lasting more clearly than ever before. And that is exactly what fills those once lost years with deep meaning. We are very close to the end now, And if any part of this has touched your heart today, please subscribe before we move into the final words together, because what comes next is the part I most want you to carry with you. I plead with you, please do not let go of my hand right now. I use the word plead, not because I lack power, but because I can clearly see what lies just ahead. If you simply hold on a little longer, you believe you are dragging yourself through the last few pointless steps of a tiring road. But in my eyes, you are standing very close to an important turning point. Just one more step, even a slow one, even one taken through tears, even one taken in fear, is enough to open up an entirely different sky above you. You do not need to leap forward all at once. You simply need to stop turning your back. Every single time you choose to move forward, even gently, I am rushing closer toward you. While you feel like you are inching along bit by bit, I am closing the distance between us with great speed and great love. You may have believed that what you once called punishment was actually a protective wall, shielding you from something that would have caused you to lose yourself completely. What you once mistook for being abandoned was actually simply distance I kept between you and something slowly draining the life out of your soul. What you once believed was a final, hopeless ending was actually the exact moment I quietly opened a brand new chapter, one no longer written in the old, painful language, where you are no longer named after your failures, but named instead by the love I gently pour into your life, fresh, every single day. My dear child, there is something the world keeps whispering in your ear, telling you to always wear a calm face, to always look strong, successful, and completely in control, as if showing even one drop of weakness will get you thrown away like yesterday's news. But that is not how I see you at all. I know you on the days you shine bright, and I also know you on the nights you sit quietly staring at a blank wall, feeling nothing inside. I know the mornings you do not even want to get out of bed, because your heart simply feels too heavy to move. While the world only wants to hear stories about your wins, I am the one who listens patiently, even to the sighs you think nobody would ever want to hear. While people grow tired of you mentioning the same sadness again and again, I still sit quietly beside you, looking at you with eyes that never grow weary of your pain. There are days you think of yourself as someone who arrived too late, who missed the good chances, who spent the best years chasing things that now, looking back, feel completely empty. You feel like your whole life has gone to waste, like you burned through the time I gave you for nothing. But when I look at you, I do not only see your mistakes and your falls. I see a heart that, even bruised, is still beating, a soul that once wanted to give up completely, but is still here today, still breathing, still finding a little courage left to keep going, to keep talking to me. The simple fact that you can still stand up after every single time you have fallen down is a kind of beauty that no trophy, no certificate, no compliment from this world could ever match. Trophies will gather dust on a shelf somewhere and be forgotten. But a person who dares to rise again after pain, who dares to come back after wandering far away, that, in my eyes, is a far greater victory than a perfectly smooth life that never once stumbled. You are still here. You still call out my name. You still dare to call yourself my child, even on the days you feel ashamed of your own scars. And that means far more to me than you could ever guess. I do not want you to use everything you have not yet achieved as one more reason to quietly punish yourself, day after day. Like a harsh judge demanding you become the most perfect version of yourself before you are allowed to feel okay. You do not need to stand in front of me as though you are in a courtroom, constantly defending yourself, constantly proving you deserve one more chance. I already know everything about you. I am not holding some scoreboard, counting how many years you are behind, how many steps you missed, how many doors closed in your face. You are you, not a copy of someone else, and the story I am writing for you was never meant to look like anyone else's story. Every single person I have ever made carries their own unique rhythm, and if you keep forcing yourself to run at somebody else's pace, you will simply collapse before you ever reach what is truly meant for you. A single act of kindness can help God's message reach someone who needs hope today. If you feel blessed by this channel, you can stand with us through the PayPal links in the description and pinned comment. Thank you for helping us spread God's love one soul at a time. I understand exactly why you keep comparing yourself to others, because deep down you are scared of being forgotten, scared that if you are not as good or as fast as they are, you will simply be left behind. But in my family, no child is extra, no one is left over, and no one is ever too late to matter. Those fearful thoughts are not coming from me. They come from a frightened little voice inside you, or from a world that keeps demanding you prove your value through speed, success, or position. I do not measure you that way at all. I look at you the way a parent looks at a child they have watched grow from the very beginning. Every season you smiled, every season you quietly cried, every single time you tried so hard that even you did not realize how much you were already giving. Every promise I have placed over your life has its own special timing, just like the seasons of a tree. Some little seeds sprout quickly, breaking through the soil within just a few days. But other seeds need to stay hidden in the dark earth for a much longer time before they grow into something tall and strong. You usually only like the fast kind, the instant miracle, the door that swings open right away, so you do not have to sit with uncertainty or keep asking why nothing has happened yet. But I do not work according to your impatience. I work according to a wisdom that sees the whole field, while right now you can only see one small corner of it. There are things I have deliberately not yet placed into your hands, not because I enjoy watching you go without them, but because I know that if I gave them to you while your heart is not yet deep enough, while your roots are not yet strong enough, that very good thing would become a weight heavy enough to break your back. I never want a blessing to turn into a chain around your neck. I would rather slow things down a little so I can help your roots grow deeper first, so I can teach you to trust me in the quiet, so I can train you to stand firm even when nothing is clear yet, rather than handing you something too soon that ends up hurting your soul in the long run. You often feel like these past years have given you nothing at all, that you wasted your youth, made poor choices, stayed in relationships that led nowhere, worked jobs that went nowhere, lived through long, repeating days where nothing ever seemed to move forward. Looking back, all you see is a chain of wasted time. But I see those very years as a hidden workshop, where I quietly softened the stubborn parts of you, where I made you more sensitive to other people's pain, where I gently broke apart a deep pride you would never have noticed inside yourself if everything had come easily and quickly. I used the wounds from your relationships to teach you what real love looks like, and what simply being used looks like, so that next time you will recognize someone who truly knows how to treasure you. I used the quiet, thankless work, the years nobody noticed or praised, to build patience, endurance, and the habit of doing good things for me, not just for applause. Nothing in your story is extra. There are only seasons whose meaning you have not fully understood yet, and I never laugh at your confusion. I simply wait for the day you are calm enough for me to explain each piece again, right along the very footprints you once believed were just wandering nowhere. If you have felt understood by even one sentence in this part, please subscribe and stay with us, because there is more healing waiting just ahead in this video. Today, even if you feel like you still amount to nothing at all, I want you to pause and look closely at one simple truth. You are still here, still alive, still able to feel something, still able to believe, even if that belief is shaking and small. You may not know how many times you wanted to completely give up, yet you could never quite let go all the way, because somewhere inside you, there is still one tiny, fragile little thread connecting you back to me. It is exactly that small, almost invisible thread that means so much to me. It tells me you have not fully closed your heart, that some quiet part of you still longs for something more than just barely getting by. Please do not look down on the fact that you still sit here, still read these words, still listen, still talk with me even a little. That alone is the sign of a soul refusing to let darkness completely take over. I do not expect you to become a hero overnight. I simply want the chance, day by day, to soften one more small piece of your heart. You often ask yourself quietly, if all this is true, then when will it be my turn? When will I finally see what was promised to me? I do not judge you for asking that, because I understand it. It grows out of all the times you stood watching from the sidelines, while others received the very blessings you had hoped for yourself. But I want you to know that in the deeper places of life, nobody can ever take your turn away from you. What I have set aside specifically for you, no one else can take. What belongs to someone else, you were never meant to seize for yourself. Every person carries their own portion, and the time for that portion to appear is also uniquely chosen, just for them. The fact that you watch others cross a finish line ahead of you does not mean I left you behind at the starting line. Sometimes I deliberately keep you a little longer at the beginning, so you can learn things others did not need to learn, things you will need exactly in the places they will never go. Instead of asking, when will it be my turn? I would love for you to start asking instead, what are you teaching me in this season? The moment your question changes, your impatience quietly begins to shrink, and you start noticing that I am not still and unmoving the way you imagined. I am busy preparing you and the world around you, so that, when I finally bring you into the place I have planned, everything will already be exactly where it needs to be. You are not forgotten somewhere in a forgotten corner of the sky. I remember every tiny detail of your life, even the small things others would never bother to notice. There are dreams you think you have buried, but I still hold them gently in my hands, quietly breathing new life into them, waiting for the day you finally feel brave enough to receive them again, without the fear of failing all over. Take a slow breath with me, and if your heart feels even a little lighter right now, please subscribe to this channel, because this small action helps these words reach the next tired heart that needs them. Have you ever noticed how, deep beneath the ground, a tree's roots quietly stretch downward, unseen, unheard, simply searching for water, simply preparing for a season strong enough that no wind could ever knock that tree over? That is exactly what I am doing inside your soul right now. You look around and your outside circumstances may not look very different. The same familiar faces, the same ongoing struggles, the same worries that visit again and again. But I can see something important happening underneath all of that. You yourself are simply not the same person you were yesterday. The things that used to break you no longer rule over you the way they once did. The harsh words that used to crush you for a whole week now feel like distant echoes that no longer decide your worth. The wounds that once made you afraid to open your heart are slowly turning into scars that quietly remind you, I made it through, and I am still here. This is not you becoming strong through sheer willpower alone. This is my spirit gently working inside you, redirecting heavy thoughts, calming sensitive places, rearranging priorities you could never sort out on your own. Wherever my spirit moves, fear no longer gets to shout the way it used to. It can only whisper now, and you have slowly learned to recognize that whisper and turn instead toward my comforting voice. You are not nearly as weak as you keep telling yourself. You have already walked through storms that would have made the old version of you give up long ago. Maybe in these past weeks you have felt a strange restlessness inside you that is hard to put into words. Outwardly, everything still looks the same, but inside, it feels like something is about to shift, like you are standing right on the edge of something new that you cannot quite name yet. You assume it is only stress or overthinking, but I want you to know, often this restlessness is simply the gentle bell of my spirit ringing softly inside you, waking you up from a life of just getting by to tell you clearly, no, your story with me has not finished here. This is only a turning point, not the end. If this thought brings you even a small bit of peace, that's a wonderful sign. And a quick subscribe right now would mean so much as we move toward the heart of this message together. There are many nights you have sat alone, looking back over the road you have walked, whispering quietly to yourself, I have ruined everything. There is nothing left worth fixing. You speak almost as if the ending has already been decided. But I am the one who sees the entire picture, from beginning to end, while you are simply standing somewhere in the middle of a crooked, winding path, deciding too quickly that there is no way forward. If only you lifted your head a little, you would notice that I am still waiting for you, just ahead, at turns you cannot yet see. You believe that whenever you do something wrong, every good promise I ever made for you gets crossed out forever. But I am not like people who change their minds the moment someone disappoints them. I am not easily discouraged the way humans often are. I already knew every single mistake you would ever make, and I still chose to write good promises into your story anyway. Because I knew there would come a day you would need somewhere safe to come home to, something solid to hold on to, so you would not fall apart completely. You grow tired carrying so much guilt around. You hold on to every painful memory, almost like a punishment you give yourself on purpose, as if blaming yourself harder will somehow make you more deserving of forgiveness. But that is simply not how I work. I do not need you to punish yourself with self-hatred in order to prove that you are sorry. I need you to believe, instead, that my love is big enough to reach even into the places you think no one would ever dare to touch. I want you to loosen your grip on that heavy weight, not so you can live carelessly, but so you finally make room in your heart for me to be the healer you actually need, instead of the harsh accusing voice you have been listening to for far too long. I see you carrying around an old file in your mind, a list of every wrong thing you have ever done, replaying it again and again, as though I am still holding it open, reading it line by line, waiting to punish you for it. But, my child, that file has already been closed by me, sealed with mercy, long before you even thought to ask. I do not deny that those things happened. I simply choose not to let them define the rest of your story. I clean the dust off your soul, not so you can pretend the past never existed, but so you can finally stand up without shaking under the weight of old shame. You do not need to hide it, dress it up, or argue it away. You only need to place it gently into my hands and let me handle the rest in my own way and my own time. This ministry exists to bring encouragement, prayer, and God's truth to every heart that needs it. You can stand with us through PayPal links in the description and pinned comment. May God bless you abundantly for your love and support. My dear child, there is a quiet kind of life I am inviting you into, one that the world rarely notices, but heaven celebrates every single time. You keep waiting for the big stage, the loud applause, the moment everyone finally sees you. But I want to show you the small doors, standing right in front of you, that you have been walking past without a second glance. An ordinary job that feels like nothing special is, in my hands, a quiet place where you can practice kindness when no one is watching and let a different spirit show through your everyday work. An imperfect family, full of misunderstandings and old arguments, is in my hands, soil where I am teaching you to plant forgiveness again and again, even when it is hard. A small group of friends who gather without any big plans is, in my hands, exactly the place where you learn to keep showing up for people, to walk beside them, and to be lifted up by them too. You will come to see that the most beautiful season of your life is not the one filled with everything the world claps for, but the one where you are simply living in your true place, moving at the rhythm I have set just for you, letting goodness flow through you the way water flows downhill, without you forcing it at all. And when I restore something in your life, I never just paint over the cracks so it looks fine from a distance. I do not glue a few pieces together and hope nobody examines it too closely. I reach all the way down to the root. I reset the very foundation. I straighten the direction you are facing. And I gently reshape even your desires and your dreams, so that you do not simply end up a little better than before, but truly new. I do not hand you the broken pieces and ask you to figure out how to fix yourself with your own two hands. With my own hands, I shape a brand new picture, a brand new story, a brand new current running through your life, until there are days you will catch your own reflection and quietly ask, is this really me? Yes, it is still you, but you touched, guided, and taught how to love, trust, live, and give in a way you never knew before. And here is something gentle I want you to remember. That new thing did not start far away in some distant future. It began the very moment you stopped running from me, the very second you dared to be honest with me about your fear, your pain, your shame. I already began that work. I am doing it right now, today, in this very moment as you listen, and I will keep doing it until it is finished. Your part is not to try to control or manage every single piece on your own. Your part is simply to agree to let me keep shaping you, to take small steps whenever I gently nudge you forward, so that one day, looking back, you will say quietly, if it had not been for you, I never could have become this person. And in that moment, it will not only be you who rejoices. The people who watched your whole journey will also understand that no life is ever truly hopeless in my hands, as long as that person is willing to keep letting me write the next page. If even one sentence here feels like it was written just for your life today, please go ahead and subscribe right now, so the next part of this can find you whenever your heart needs it. When the whole world around you is busy chasing its own goals, too rushed to even look you in the eye, I am the quiet place where you can finally lay your head down without fear of being judged. When you feel like you are disappearing into the crowd, unseen, uncared for, I am still calling your name softly inside my own heart, like someone remembering the one face they love most among 1,000 others. There are desires you thought had died long ago, dreams you buried so deep you swore to yourself you would never speak of them again, afraid of being hurt one more time. I have not thrown a single one of them away. I keep them in a place where time cannot touch them, simply waiting for the right moment to gently place them back into your open hands, in a shape that finally fits who you have become. You may believe you have lost everything that once mattered to you, but I tell you, there are things I have purposely set aside, not to punish you, but to protect you from receiving an unripened version of the very blessing meant for you. I do not take things away to hurt you. I set them aside so I can give you the very best version later, once your soul has grown strong enough to hold it without being crushed under its weight. And right now, even though your eyes cannot see it clearly yet, something is quietly stirring in the unseen places around your life. The gears you assumed had stopped turning long ago are slowly beginning to move again, smoothly, purposefully. It is not by accident that lately a feeling hard to describe has been rising in your chest, like a quiet call to stand up, like a longing to stop simply waiting on the sidelines, like a small but persistent thought whispering, "Maybe there really is still something good waiting for me." That is not your imagination. That is the gentle signal I am sending you, a sign that life is being breathed once again into places you had quietly given up on. You used to be afraid of dreaming, because every single time you dared to hope for something, you risked the heavy ache of disappointment. You used to be afraid of opening your heart, because every time you trusted, you risked being hurt one more time. You used to be afraid of joy itself, scared that the moment it appeared, it would simply be taken away again. I understand every one of those fears completely. I have watched you curl inward, like someone who just survived a hailstorm, only daring to stand pressed against a wall, watching the world go by from a safe distance. But the season I am leading you into now, my child, is not a season for you to stay quietly on the sidelines anymore. This time, I will be the one guiding every step, not your fragile emotions, not sudden impulses, not the shiny but empty temptations around you. I will not let you slip back into the old, exhausted cycles you are simply too tired to keep repeating. I am pulling you out of the endless loop of merely existing, opening your eyes to see that you were made for far more than that, made to love, to give, to become living proof that being made whole again is truly real. If this part is speaking gently to your heart, please subscribe now, because the next few lines carry something I really want you to hold on to. As you let me keep working inside you, you will see that everything I tell you is not just a kind thought meant to soothe you for a moment, but something truly real wherever I am allowed to touch it. The dry, cracked desert places inside you will begin to sprout new green life. The ashes of old disappointments will slowly turn into something beautiful you could never have built on your own. The quiet sadness you have carried for so long will be turned into a brand new song you did not know your own heart could sing. The blessings that once felt completely blocked, like a river dammed up by old stones of hurt and fear, will, as you let me touch the deepest wounds, slowly have those stones moved aside, one by one, so the water can finally flow again. And when that flow opens up, you will not only feel refreshed yourself, you will become a small source of refreshment for everyone around you who is thirsty too. Because from the very beginning, all the way to this very moment, my purpose has always been the same: to save you, to heal you, and then to use your own healed life as living proof of my kindness in a world that is starving for hope, but does not always know where to look for it. I know there are nights you have looked up toward the sky and quietly asked, "Why did you not simply stop all of this from happening, so I would not have had to hurt this much?" You ask that question because, from where you stand, you can only see a short stretch of the road ahead. I do not scold you for asking. I understand exactly how tired your heart has grown. But I want you to know that if I removed every single painful thing the moment it touched you, you would never truly understand what you had actually been saved from. It was precisely those wounds that slowed your feet down, that stopped you from racing straight into dead ends that only seemed to sparkle from a distance. It was precisely those disappointments that gently pulled you away from ties that would have wrapped so tightly around you. You might have forgotten who you even were. I do not create the hard, painful things that happen in this world, but I always know how to take even the worst of what touches your life and quietly weave it into a part of your healing story. What was meant to break you, I use instead to show you, and everyone watching, that nothing has the power to pull you out of my hand once you let me hold on to you. This is not just a comforting way of thinking to dry your tears for a moment. This is genuinely how I work. I do not ask you to smile through gritted teeth while you are still bleeding inside. I simply invite you to lift your eyes a little higher, to look a little further than today, and to see that pain never lasts forever, while my love for you has no ending at all. You so often live with a quiet worry that you have waited too long, fallen too far behind, and that whatever was promised to you must have slipped away with all the years and all the failed attempts. But, my child, I am not like people who change their minds simply because time has passed, or who tear up the plans for your life because you stumbled along the way. What I began inside you, I have both the power and the patience to finish completely. The years you believe were entirely lost, I can repay in ways you cannot even picture right now. I do not always simply hand back the exact same old things, because honestly, many of those things were never truly good for your soul in the first place. Instead, I give you something deeper, something truer, something more lasting, things that mature your heart, that soften it without breaking it, that teach your faith to lean on me, rather than on outcomes you cannot control. If you have come this far with an open heart, please subscribe before we continue, because what comes next is something I really want you to carry with you long after this video ends. There will come a day when, looking back, you will quietly whisper, none of the waiting was wasted. Every tear mattered, because through it, I learned something real that I could not have learned any other way. It is not that the pain was beautiful by itself. It is that, in the very middle of that pain, you touched something true about me more deeply than ever before. And that is exactly what gives those once seemingly wasted years their real, lasting meaning. You do not yet fully know how many times I have already protected you. If you were to sit quietly one day and honestly ask me, how many times have you guarded me without my ever realizing it? You would probably go completely silent in amazement at the answer. There have been more close calls, more quiet rescues, more gentle redirections than you could ever count, all happening behind the scenes of your ordinary days. Simple mornings, regular drives, small choices that seemed to mean nothing at the time, but quietly steered you away from something painful you never even had to face. You do not realize how, in the unseen places, I have already prepared a quiet place of belonging for you, a kind of resting space no power, no harsh accusation, no cruel memory can ever tear from your hands. That image is not a throne for you to stand above other people. It is a peaceful little room where you can finally sit down, lay your burdens at the door, and stop pretending everything is fine when it really is not. I have already prepared a quiet table for your soul, right in the middle of all the noise and chaos around you. A table where every dark voice that tries to discourage you can only stand and watch from a distance, but can never reach in and disturb you. When you are ready to step into this place and let me care for you, let me heal you, you will slowly start to understand that what you once called punishment was actually a protective wall. What you once called being abandoned was actually a safe distance I kept between you and something that was slowly draining your life away. Listen to me closely now, my child. I know, better than anyone else, every single part of your past you wish you could erase. The choices that make your chest tighten with shame every time you remember them. The moments you turned your back on me on purpose. The times you were so hurt or so angry that harsh words spilled out of your mouth. Words you cannot even bring yourself to repeat today. I was there for every single one of those moments, and I never once turned my face away. You believe each impulsive decision, each fall into darkness, must have discouraged me deeply. But my child, my love for you is not so fragile that a few dark chapters could ever break it apart. I do not pull my eyes away from you simply because you stumbled. I do not pull my hand back simply because you no longer feel good enough in your own eyes. My heart for you does not rise and fall along with your moods. You change, you grow warm one day and cold the next. You are inconsistent in 100 small ways, but my love for you remains exactly where it has always been. Like a quiet anchor, you can return to at any time, even in the messiest, most tangled state your soul has ever been in. You imagine me as someone who only keeps a careful record of your mistakes, waiting patiently for the moment to settle the score. So whenever you do something that bothers your own conscience, you rush to hide, to stay quiet, to stop praying altogether, simply because you are afraid of what you might hear from me. But you do not realize I am not sitting somewhere far above, just waiting for you to fail so I can punish you. I am the one who bends down low, the one who gently picks up every broken piece you have ever dropped, even the pieces you hate so much you wish you could bury them and forget they ever existed. I do not step on them in disgust. I gather them up carefully. I wipe away the dust covering them, and I begin fitting them, piece by piece, into a brand new shape. To you, it looks like nothing more than a pile of useless fragments. In my hands, it becomes the raw material for a story unlike anyone else's. You see yourself as something ruined. I see a beautiful work of art still in progress, one I am not afraid to step back from, to adjust gently, even to start over from the very beginning if needed, all so that one day you can finally stand firm, fully wrapped in my love. If this is gently touching something inside your chest right now, that is exactly the right time to subscribe, so you do not miss the next part of this message. It is obvious you cannot keep living this way much longer, dragging behind you the heavy shadow of everything you have done wrong. So I gently ask you, why are you still holding so tightly to that rope tightening slowly around your own neck? Why do you keep telling yourself this is all you deserve? I want you to pause right now, wherever you are, and simply take one slow, deep breath, not as some small ritual, but as a quiet reminder that you are still alive, that you still have a chance to turn your face back toward me. I am right here, not far away the way you sometimes imagine, only a single turn of your heart away, only one honest word away, only one breath away. The breath where you finally let go of all your striving to prove yourself worthy. When you breathe deeply like that, you release just a little bit of the harsh, self-blaming words. When you finally set that heavy burden down, you make space inside yourself to receive the peace I have been waiting so long to give you. That peace is not the feeling that everything is perfectly fixed. It is the steady calm of knowing that I, not your past mistakes, not your future worries, am the one truly holding everything together. You often worry that everything that once belonged to you has somehow slipped away forever, that the chances you missed will never return, that whatever you have broken can never be made whole again. But, my child, the things I have set apart specifically for your life cannot be stolen by any power, not even by your own weakness on a hard day. There are things I allow you to lose simply because they were never truly meant to be yours in the first place. But whatever truly belongs to your story and my plan, I continue to hold, to keep, to protect somewhere no one else can reach, even on the days you are not yet mature enough to receive it back fully. I wait patiently for you to grow, for you to finish learning the lessons you need to learn, so that when the right time finally comes, you receive it and never lose it again. What is truly yours in me does not simply fall away. It is only ever being kept safe, waiting for the proper season. I am not playing some cruel game, dangling blessings just out of reach to torment you. I am following a timetable that heaven knows is exact, even while, from where you stand, it only looks like delay. There will come a day when you look back and realize that some of your prayers were not answered right away. Not because I never heard you, but because I was busy preparing something deeper and better for your soul. Better not necessarily in terms of comfort or ease, but in terms of depth and lasting steadiness. I do not want to simply hand you something to make you happy for a moment, only to watch you lose yourself afterward. I care far more about your soul than about a few fleeting moments of satisfaction. You want every painful thing to end as quickly as possible, but I want you to come out the other side of that pain having actually learned something true about me, about yourself, about the real value of grace freely given. When the day finally comes for everything I have quietly kept for you to be revealed, you will not mistake it for luck or coincidence. You will recognize my own hand in the way everything fits together perfectly, in the people you meet, in the doors that open at just the right time, in the small turns that once felt meaningless, but suddenly become the exact connecting points your story needed all along. You will remember the nights you believed you had lost everything, and comparing them with what is unfolding now, you will finally understand that without those very chapters you once wished you could erase, you would not be standing exactly where you stand today. A single act of kindness can help God's message reach someone who needs hope today. If you feel blessed by this channel, you can stand with us through the PayPal links in the description and pinned comment. Thank you for helping us spread God's love one soul at a time. Now, be still for a moment and let me lead you through a few simple, honest prayers. Words you can speak from wherever you are sitting right now. No fancy language needed, only your real heart. Heavenly Father, the one who sees deep into every quiet corner of my heart, I come to you today carrying all my tiredness and confusion. So many times I misunderstood your silence. I thought you had looked away from me. I thought my prayers simply disappeared into nothing. I thought I had stopped mattering enough for your attention. Please forgive me for the many times I judged your heart only by my own shaky feelings. Please heal the parts of me that were wounded by people who left, so I stopped placing their faces over yours. Teach me to see clearly that even when everything around me feels silent, your love is still quietly working, holding me, guarding me, in ways I have not yet learned to understand. Give me new eyes of faith so I can trust your heart, even when I cannot fully understand your timing. And teach me to simply rest in your arms instead of struggling so hard inside my own confused mind. Good and loving Father, who holds every single season of my life gently in your hands, I bring to you all my worry about time, about growing older, about everything I believe I have already missed. So often I look around at others, compare myself, and see myself always a little behind. Then, I quietly ask why you let them move so quickly, while I seem to move so slowly. I am sorry for letting those comparisons quietly steal my joy and my gratitude. Help me truly believe that you are never late, that the years I thought were wasted are actually being used by you right now to shape my character, deepen my faith, and soften my heart. Set me free from this constant need to measure myself against everyone else, so I can walk in peace at exactly the pace you have lovingly set just for my own life. Teach me to treasure every small step, every quiet change, every hidden bit of progress that maybe only you and I can see. And please help me remember, always, that I am not late in your plan. I am right on time in the schedule you wrote for me long before I was even born. Gentle and patient Spirit, I bring before you every harsh little courtroom I have quietly built inside my own mind over the years. So many times I have been the harshest judge against myself, repeating words inside my head that make me feel small, locking myself away in the obsession of mistakes I cannot go back and undo. I forget too easily that I am only the clay, and that you are the patient hands shaping me. Please come and gently soothe the wounded places I still keep hidden. Teach me to lay down my so-called right to condemn myself, and instead hand over to you the right to heal me, and to keep shaping my life exactly the way you see fit. Help me believe that I am not a broken, defective thing to be thrown away, but a work of art still in process, that what has been broken in me is never meant to be discarded, but joined back together into something even more beautiful and more secure than before. Give me enough humility to stop performing strength, to admit my weakness honestly, and to ask for your help, so that from now on, the loudest voice inside my heart is no longer the accusations from my past, but the loving whisper of the one who is shaping me a little more every single day. Beloved Father, thank you for helping me look back at the years I once believed were a complete waste, and see them now in a softer, truer light. Thank you for never scolding me on the days I complained that my life felt too slow, that I had missed too much, that I could never catch up with everyone else around me. Thank you for patiently correcting the way I saw time, helping me realize that you were quietly at work through every single one of those days I once dismissed as meaningless. Thank you that every tear, every long wait, every delay has been used by you to deepen the roots of my faith, soften my heart, and quietly break apart pride I did not even know I was carrying. Thank you for never forcing me into early success just to satisfy the standards of this world, but instead letting me walk at the pace that was actually safe for my soul. Thank you that every season of my life has had its own value, and that today I can feel a little more peace about everything that lies behind me, simply because I know your hand has never once let go of my life. Lord, I lift my gratitude to you for patiently correcting the picture I carried in my heart of who you are. Thank you for never growing tired of showing me that you came to save, not to condemn, to heal, not to crush, to protect, not to break. Thank you for helping me see that many of the things I once called unfair were actually moments you were quietly pulling me back from the very edge of something far worse, and that many of the things I called losses were really just necessary turns that kept my life pointed in the right direction. Thank you for stepping into my pain, not with sharp words of blame, but with gentle hands that lifted me up instead of pushing me down further. Thank you for letting me be honest about my anger, my sadness, my doubts, and never once walking away because of them. I know that without your patient, quiet presence, I would have let all those misunderstandings push me even further away from you. I offer this whole prayer with a thankful, humble heart. Amen. I want you to know, my child, that this love I have for you does not come with conditions, does not run out, and does not get smaller just because you stumble. I loved you long before you ever knew my name, and I will keep loving you long after every storm in your life has finally passed. So please, take a deep breath right now, right where you are. Let go of the heavy bag of guilt you have been carrying for far too long. You do not have to earn your way back to me. You simply have to turn around, and you will find that I never actually walked away in the first place. Every video on this channel is created with love, faith, and dedication to sharing God's Word. If these messages inspire and encourage you, you can support our mission through PayPal, links in the description and pinned comment. Thank you for being part of this journey. And now, since this is the final part of our time together today, I want to leave you with one last, gentle promise to carry in your heart. Wherever you go from here, whatever today looked like, whatever yesterday took from you, please remember this one simple truth. You are not forgotten, you are not too late, and you are not too broken to be loved completely. Every quiet tear, every silent night, every long season of waiting has been gathered up gently and is being woven into something beautiful that you cannot fully see just yet. You do not have to be strong today. You only have to be honest and to keep your hand open, even just a little, so that love can reach in and hold it. So breathe slowly now, let your shoulders soften, and walk forward knowing that you are deeply loved, quietly protected, and gently being led, one small step at a time, into everything good that is still waiting for you. If these words have touched your heart even a little today, please subscribe. Share this with someone who needs it, and come back again soon, because there is always more comfort, more hope, and more love waiting for you right here.